Hello, and welcome back. Let's see. Last time, last time we made it to the center of Linigus and found a
Are you
bunch of
just going to keep
answers,
standing around or what?
Sorry, I'm just getting prepped over here.
including the fact that we need to go to.
You can't seriously be buying anything that.
Pause that. Let's see. Made it to the center of the secret zone with in Linigus, found some answers, including the fact that all sovereigns are in fact Danans that have been kidnapped and messed around with. And that we needed to go to Rena to solve this issue once and for all. On the way there, the women in red intercepted us and transported us somewhere else, where we met another member of their race who had apparently broken free. Who told us that Rena itself has been behind this, and it's a creature. Well, let's see. I'd say it's safe to describe it as either as similar to Galactus and or Unicron. Seems to be a planet intent on consuming everything, specifically ether. Is that what it is? Source of magic in this game. And now we met the one host who told us to go talk to the others. So we're gonna find out who the others are.
Creature told us, right? I mean, it's practically blackmailing us into doing its dirty work.
To be honest, the conversation went on for so long, I'm not sure I understood all of it. How about you, Dohalim? Were you able to follow it at all?
At the very least, everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit adds up. At the end of the day, this whole chain of events comes back to astral energy. That being said, had we not previously encountered the will of Dana, I suspect I would find its story much more difficult to believe.
The spirit of Rena wants to see Dana completely destroyed. But why? Astral energy is supposed to be a force that creates and shapes the world.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if we're up against an entire world or what its game is. We're not going to let it destroy Dana.
Right.
There is one other thing that concerns me. How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan is clear enough. But what about the Renans? How do they factor into all this?
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevrek 35 never even brought up the Renans once. And as for the Helganquil, we never did find out just what they are either.
Maybe it had a reason for keeping its silence. Or perhaps there's even more going on. Maybe the others will shed more light on the matter. Let's find out.
There's nothing more to this level. Yeah, that was the other thing, is that Rena apparently is title locked because no one knew that it's mostly just a shell of a planet. Kind of looks like a dumbbell almost. It's actually kind of iffy as to whether there's even any habitable areas for the Renans on the planet. So it's saying our destination is directly in front of us, so we'll head back this way first, if we can. Though there doesn't seem to be anything back here for us.
Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you as much as we can. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
What a weird guy.
He must have meant Hevrecht 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dana and Rena, do you?
There isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here.
I guess my response to Law earlier is no one else has provided answers that made any logical sense. Used to maintain constant monitoring to ensure nothing approaches deck phasal.
Have you guys lived up here in Dig Phasal with Hevrecht 35 for a long time?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how long it's been, though. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrecht 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans. As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
Hevrecht 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold instead. Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions.
I mean, we could always come back for them after we, presumably, assuming we resolve everything.
Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift, so I can talk until then.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helganquil.
You mean the Overseer's species? I can't say I know much about them.
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't. But there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction, yes? In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans that the Helganquil kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use astro arts on Dana now.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries. They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which they insert into their bodies and—
Enough! You needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal. They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
I see. Thanks for filling us in.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all, some new revelation smacks us in the face.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while.
That also explains why the quote-unquote sovereign had to be Danan and not Renan. And then Renwell made the other connection that it occurred to me as well, namely that because they kidnapped all the Renans with the ability to cast arts, there were no Danans left to be able to cast arts, except for very minor exceptions like Renwell's family.
Do you know anything about a spirit channeling plan?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy and send it to Rena.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy without it becoming sentient. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's energy so it would be compatible with Rena.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert the energy.
We have a winner! However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became frenzied. The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans in Helganquil that day. For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dana, and implemented a system whereby we could extract energy from it.
And the crown contests began.
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was decided to replace her role with machinery to avoid further mishaps. A new Sovereign had to be made as well. It was such tremendously difficult work, its success was dubious. But from the look of things, it would appear such worries were unfounded.
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the Forbidden Zone was.
What about the flower that sprouted from Rena?
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's been harvested from Dana. As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Rena's planetary structure.
Hevric 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final stage. Is that true?
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my own eyes, and yet here we are. Are we done talking now? If it's all the same to you, I'd really rather not miss anything that's about to happen.
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another day on the job.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a long time. Who knows what shape their minds are in?
It feels like our whole world has been turned upside down. Is there anything we know that's still true at this point?
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by the Helganquil, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden stuff.
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves. I know all of this is a lot to believe and take in, but I think it's fair to say that we've found the answers we've been looking for. Does everyone agree?
Agreed. Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down to Rena's great spirit being behind everything.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because of astral energy.
And to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control of the Helganquil. Then the Helganquil created the Renans, who went on to invade and rule over the Danans.
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well is likely because they were originally Danans all along.
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should probably take it easy and rest our minds a bit. Why don't we all take some time to think things over, before we decide on our next move?
That's a good idea, Kisara. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, then we've got a really big fight ahead of us. Because it's not just Dana on the line, but Rena too. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely sure of ourselves. So let's go ahead and break off for now. We aren't in any immediate danger, so we should be okay. You sure you don't want to be alone right now?
I could ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and checking up on everybody.
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's on everyone's minds too.
Sounds good. Let's go find them.
Party disband.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah, let's hit up each spot.
Certainly is a lot to process.
Everything we thought we knew. It was all just a fabrication that the Red Women, no, that the Helganquil made up.
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that Hevric 35 has told us, that is.
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of Helgen too.
But if Hevric 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive lie, does that mean everything we've done up until now has been pointless?
No, I don't think so. Or at least I hope not. I think it just means we've lost our foothold for now. That's all.
Really? Well then, if we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another. All of us together. And if we can't find one, then we'll make a new one. End of story.
Make one, huh? I see. Right then. Count me in.
More in it? Spirit channeling plan will soon finally conclude as the Overseer reaches the end of its lifespan. After going into hibernation countless times to date, it's been a long time coming, to say the least. What are we going to do once the project is over, and there's nothing left for us to research? We'll always keep observing as long as there are things out there worth watching. Once our time is up, whenever it is, we shall return to nothing. It's a fitting fate for this station and its inhabitants after being cast out into the cosmos. Found me classic and help me up back up? Well, I appreciate it. Thanks to you, I can continue going about my research.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans, and the Great Spirit, and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Danon mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danons again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danons probably won't be so quick to let their guards down, and there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah, I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danon and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dana's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live. And I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about, all I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
And now for John.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis, or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator, so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why...
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danon, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dana's still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world, and it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Shion.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Shion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Shion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Shion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
While the main body resides in Rena.
Shion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorn's connection thanks to Naori.
Hevric 35 has been observing the great astral spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is.
Members who have left have returned to your party. He also did tell
Our
us
minds
to...
are made up. Let's go give Hevric 35 our answer.
It also did tell us to come back to him.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renis almost stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
The god.
More importantly, who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships that people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine, I'm sure of it.
Right.
I wonder what will happen to the Hellvrek? No, that's his name. Valquil? Central level? Oh, Ganquil. That's where we need to go. Can we go to the upper level yet? I was about to say, if they don't show us Rena and Dana from this view, then what's the point of having this room? But they do. The shadow says that there should be a star over that direction. But none of these stars are big enough to beat the planetary star. I suppose it could technically be behind us, but that wouldn't make any sense with the direction of the light. Well, let's give Hellvrek 35 their answer.
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational.
That's...
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renus Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns could be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renus Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that the Renus Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renus Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renus Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegus.
It is likely that the Renus Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Hevrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it too much to ask for Hevrek 35 to talk like a normal person? I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated stuff.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him. Now all we have to do is rest up and wait.
Is also not human,
Once
so
the
you don't
Fall Knights is good
quite
to go
think the
again,
same way you guys
we'll be
do?
taking off for Rena right away. Is the Renus Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Firemaster core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe, but with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
Hevrek 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details, so assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
It'll take some time to completely repair your starship. Suggest that you all get some rest in the interim. Rest.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Hevrick 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Ah.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were
No,
thinking?
that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Shion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrick 35 said, The only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the Blazing Sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the Blazing Sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma, but it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything that
Listen,
we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Shion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me.
Hmm?
My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrect 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
There was a lot going on there. I don't know how I feel about Doalim and Kisara. I've always kind of been iffy on Rinwell and Law, but Shion and Alphen have just always been cute. Like, Rinwell and Law kind of have been bouncing between ship teasing and siblings.
Are you just going to keep standing around or what?
Sorry, I'm just getting prepped over here.
That is honestly getting annoying. But like, I know there was some minor teasing between Kisara and Doalim, but it just didn't feel like anything on this level. Like Doalim and Kisara just didn't seem to have that type of chemistry.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
Also, I have to wonder how much atmosphere Rena actually has.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
Not that there's much to planets
This
itself.
is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
Freud Reynolds. Rena.
So this is Rena. This
Special
is where
owls
everything
seem to
began.
have appeared throughout
Yet it's a
Canada.
dead world?
I won't let Dana suffer the same fate, ever.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
Nah, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something. So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renaissance using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength, it's that it's sentient too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renaissance, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up.
I certainly hope I'm almost done with these things.
Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
What do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renan rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Renans, Danans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example, but with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day,
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
These don't look like they've been activated.
Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
Good freaking grief!
Helganquil!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
I knew there was something off here!
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
Going in! Flaming meteor! Going in! Feast assault! Lightning strike!
I'm sorry to be a bother.
We've all got enough now.
Yes, ma'am!
Going in!
Why do we always just wind up fighting like 5 different fights?
Leave the enemy's arms to me.
No complaints here! Not today!
Look sharp!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Whirlwind staff! Look sharp!
Is there a strategy that I'm missing? With moderation, no items. Focus on healing. Fight aggressively. Use sport hearts to fight. Use healing hearts when in danger. Restore HP with items from the 1 CP. Save CP. Don't spend CP. Go out on bosses. Use healing and support arts when fighting. Restore HP, CP with items when low on CP. Healing only. Don't do anything. I think I've mentioned this before, but this is something I definitely really liked about the Xenoblade series is even when you can't control all the characters, you can be at least be like, hey, focus on this enemy first. Also, I just noticed, and I have no idea why they have the Higanquil listed across two separate. Like, they have Higanquil 3 and then Higanquil 2. Why not just Higanquil 5? Because it's not even like they're different levels.
Look, it exploded?
Don't get caught in the blast!
Even if you go in!
One more! You fight better at a distance. The further away, the better. You and I both.
Going in.
You see what happened there as you crossed me?
Going in.
Shouldn't have done that.
Thanks, Shion.
Big blast strike!
Hurricane strike!
Eat this!
Talon hurricane!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Frozen!
Hammer!
These fights go so much faster when the characters start beating up on the same
Alphen.
person.
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Danon slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay the course.
Of course, they're apparently going to help that I'm 10 levels under them.
I wonder what Hilganquil civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
I can see what it means when it said people think they went overboard with these.
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean, wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you. What's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking maybe meat.
Get him, Hoodle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hoodle.
Ow, ow, ow! Seriously, what the hell?
That's no ordinary enemy.
Oh man, I hope I live long enough to regret this. Take this!
This one's mine. These ones can make rings around us.
Eagle Fly! I'll finish you here and now!
Glacial Spear. This one's mine.
Lunar Arc!
This one's mine.
Take when did I get so popular?
It's too much!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Look sharp. This one's mine. Flaming Meteor. One more.
I'm on it! I'll tear you apart!
Come on, roll! Get in the way!
This one's mine. Eagle Fly. Flaming Meteor.
Let's tear him up! Look sharp! Attack and defense! You do everything!
In the Royal Guard, that's the job description.
Speaking of jobs, we should get to finishing this one.
You're flashier than you look.
Can't change the future.
Frozen.
Hammer. Good to know my training is paying off.
You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zeugles. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana, let alone up in Lenegis.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zeugles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First, people made Zeugles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that Renans are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well, I guess when you look at it that way, maybe people and Zeugles aren't so different after all.
Good grief, another one?
I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Hey, these guys built Lenegis, remember? They probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit? Or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them use their capabilities for?
Five. Pretty sure we're on 5 now.
We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the Great Spirit. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
all of us, you mean? I suppose it's difficult to say for sure. We don't even know if they would see us as being on an equal level with them or not.
I think we may have had the chance once, before the Renin Great Spirit came along and changed everything.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. A strong willingness to believe in hope.
Do you think that's foolish?
On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf from your book myself. In tragedy's aftermath, hope is all we have.
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator. That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
Good grief, there's another one!
What the? Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate.
One more! Fall into thine own! That's better! Now get everything! Blazer spear! Here's
Got fire!
I've got this! Let a marksman handle it! Look out!
All yours!
Get behind me!
Take that!
This one's mine!
May 1,000 gales carry you to dread!
Lunar arc!
Blazer spear! Here's evil! Blast! Reinforcements?
Take this!
These sticks have got your name on them!
Here! Gas in the wind! First aid!
They're light?
Eagle fly! There with the others!
Going in!
Water! Here's
No,
I didn't want to...
Raging storm! Alright, it's
Rotating
showtime! Now!
It just keeps coming!
Can you take it?
Lightning together!
All of this sticks, and I heard it!
Terminate the top! Far enough! Annihilation! Holy land!
I like something from her. For some reason, she has the most amount of
I really owe you one.
fight skills.
Holy land! This one's mine!
Eat this! Let's do it! Long! I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life! And done!
Let's keep up the pace! Lightning strike! Flaming meteor!
Lightning
You into dust! Look sharp!
illuminate the top!
That'll bring you down!
Holy land!
Eagle ray!
Your style is beautiful to observe.
You just watching or what?
No, I'm still in it.
This one's mine!
Lunar arc! This one's mine! Havoc thrust!
Nice law!
Leave it all to love!
Hey, I'm here too, you know!
Nothing gets by blazing you apart! Plenty left! Flaming meteor! Lunar arc! Look sharp! Plenty left!
You shouldn't have messed with me!
Look sharp! Hurricane strike!
Does it hurt?
I'm
I
gone!
don't see anything! Hitting pile driver!
Flaming meteor!
Soaring! I'm ready!
Shield!
Go for it!
Prepare to crumble! Surprise! Plenty
Slow
left!
dance!
Hurricane now! Look sharp!
Can you take it?
Lightning strike! Eagle
And
flight!
watch it! Hitting pile driver!
Jubilee!
All yours, Kisara.
We did it!
Magnificently done.
Going in! Look sharp!
More are coming, aren't they?
No further!
The fluidity of your movements is simply incredible.
Do it!
All yours, Kisara.
You can hit the one by itself?
Now!
Shield!
Go for it!
Prepare to crumble!
Flame too long!
This one's mine! Do it! Eagle down!
Commander of Heaven.
Phoenix Cyclone!
Which one's the chaotic figure?
On guard!
Wait! This one's mine! Hurricane strike! This one's mine! Lightning strike! One more! Hurricane... Let the marksman handle this! Lightning strike!
Now you see what I can do!
This one's mine!
This one's mine! How dare! Lunar Arc! Eagle going in!
We're in the home stretch, guys!
What'd she say? Eyes on the prize!
That focus goes double for you, Lon.
Me? How come I get singled out?
Eagle assault! Lunar Arc!
Now!
Don't leave!
All yours, Kisara.
Nice try! On guard! Havoc strike! Appreciate the help! Flaming meteor! Take that! Lunar Arc!
Should have messed with me.
This one's mine!
It's not.
This one's mine!
Going in! Lightning strike!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Dragon shell!
Shield!
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes!
Nice try! On Demon Land! Havoc thrust!
This
one's
one's
mine!
mine.
This one's
I'm
mine!
ready.
Shield!
Go for it!
Prepare to crumble! Surprise! This one's mine! Elusive deity! Lunar Arc! Look sharp! Beast assault!
Raging
Lightning
storm!
strike! Hurricane strike!
I'm on
Do it!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Illuminator
Come
Come
on! Beast assault! Lightning strike!
Now, Springwell! Frozen!
Hammer!
I'm even stronger than before.
Even in such a harsh environment as this. There are still creatures here?
You think they're native to Rena? Or could they be Zoogle somehow?
Whatever they are, they're dangerous. Watch yourselves around them. You think that pit stretches all the way to Rena's core?
If that's true, and if we go down, we should find the Great Spirit at the bottom.
We could get there even faster if we simply jump down instead.
You sound alarmingly serious when you say that.
I... There's a side quest here. I need to get food.
Finally.
Or the
If only we could have flown with the wind to get here faster.
yes, cook before resting. Cook before resting. Speed boost. Speed boost small. Medium. Boss fish, I'm pretty sure I have to catch. Tiny, no. Can I buy Sebring? looted or... It says Thistleum, which is a city, so I should be able to buy it. So at least see what this person wants us to do first, though.
Yes!
Remind me, you two were both born in this current generation of Renans, correct? That would put 100 years between us, which would make me akin to an ancestor to your generation. As such, I have an opportunity for you to demonstrate the respect due to elders like me. Perhaps I'm reading into things too much, but is such respect truly merited in this instance? I couldn't tell you one way or another, but it seems like he needs help with something. Just listen to what I have to say now. You see...
Excuse me!
Hold on, I can't let you go any further. I had a feeling this was going to happen. You always try to beat me to punch with these things. I'm surprised to hear you object. I thought you understood that sometimes the quest for knowledge requires that we get our hands dirty. It's exactly why I can't simply stand here and let you do this. I could be losing out on a valuable opportunity. Let's make this fair, shall we? We both give them our requests. Works for me. I have no objection. My head is starting to hurt trying to follow these two. They must be pretty strong if even you admit that. I don't know what you want from us, but don't expect us to agree to anything.
Hey!
What's that? Are you simply going to walk past an elderly person who's in distress? You certainly don't look elderly. I didn't think the generation gap had gotten so wide that young people forgot their manners. How unfortunate.
Really now?
Alright, we'll hear you out, but one matter at a time. We're busy people ourselves with our own matters to attend to. Fair enough, in that case, I can wait. You can go first. Thank you. Now, as I was about to say before, I'd like you all to go down to the surface of Rena and track a certain experimental Zoogle subject of mine. It's a failed specimen. I ejected it from Dig Phasal thinking that would dispose of it, but it seems to have survived the trip in space. What? You threw it out into space? That's so cruel. And you wish for us to finish the job, I gather? That's partly what I need you to do. More importantly, I need you to collect tissue from said Zoogle. Never would have predicted that it would arrive on Zena alive and well. Rena. Merits further scientific investigation. Why not simply go there yourself? Then you could research the creature to your heart's content. Proper field studies aren't my area of expertise. From what I gather, you people are better equipped for such sinuous work than I will ever be.
I see.
I thought I was being mindful of how I presented myself, but apparently not. Sounds like someone's a little lazy to me. We'll handle it. I have rather mixed feelings. I won't make any firm promises on whether we shall deliver, but if that works for you, we'll look into it.
Very nice.
I'm pleased to see my predictions about you weren't unfounded. In that case, go on and get to work. The rest of my research is being held up by this, so the sooner you finish this, the better. I should also mention the Zoogle in question is a 6-armed giant. It's an extremely violent specimen, so be careful when dealing with it.
Dohalim, the line of researchers is getting longer.
Perhaps I should have put more thought into this before accepting.
They actually lined up. Okay. Go to Thistleum. Go to the end, see if we can actually buy the sea brain.
That was quite the little adventure we went on.
No, that's the innkeeper I want. You. Buy the milk, but not the sea brain.
Hey, Law. Been training?
Yeah, I guess I got a little carried away. You think this is bad, you should see the state of my underwear.
Yeah. A word of advice. You might want to refrain from mentioning that stuff around girls. Ones without a military history especially.
Man, can you imagine Rinwell's face? She'd have a nervous breakdown.
I meant in general, but you sure mention her a lot, you know.
Huh? Oh, you know, she's always there, even when you least expect it. Springs to mind easily.
Either that, or maybe some part of you is subconsciously always wishing she was there.
May the trials and tribulations of young romance never change.
Romance? Like I'd be interested in that know-it-all tomboy. I'm more about mature women. Someone more like Kisara.
You know, I used to be a tomboy too when I was Rinwell's age.
Look, it's not tomboys I have anything against. But come on, you've got to admit she can be a lot to handle.
Hey, I miss anything? What's all the fuss about?
Rinwell.
Thunderblade!
Ah! What the hell was that for?
A little birdie told me you were speaking about me behind my back.
From the looks of it, I'd say you've got yourself a rival.
It wouldn't be called the Spring of Youth without a little storm every now and then.
Good. Freaking grief.
Hey, Shion. How are you and Alphen getting on these days?
That's a little out of the blue. Why do you ask?
Sorry, it's just... I don't know, I'm just curious, I guess. I mean, a lot's changed now he's got his senses back and all.
I suppose you're right. Well, to tell you the truth, if he'd been the way he is now back when I'd first met him, I probably wouldn't have gotten this involved. But then, if we hadn't met like we did, then I never would have experienced these feelings, so... I guess it's complicated.
I can imagine. I know it's not the same thing, but I know what it feels like to have someone you love who's out of reach.
Because of Miguel.
Alphen's still alive. It's not too late, you know. And after all, who can say what the future holds? I think if I were you, I'd take things as they come for now.
Besides, touch isn't everything. I've never touched you, Shion, but that doesn't stop you from knowing that I care about you, right?
That's true. But I do remember back when we first met, you made it plenty clear you weren't my biggest fan.
But that was a long time ago. There were lots of things I didn't understand back then. Not that that's the point.
Don't worry, I'm only teasing. I know what you mean. Thank you. And you're right. There are ways to convey your feelings besides just touching.
I'll say, cooking immediately springs to mind. And if it's someone's favorite dish, all the better. If there's something on your mind that you want to tell him, why not try appealing directly to his stomach?
You might just have a point. I'll give it a shot.
Uh-oh. If it's Alphen's palate you're appealing to, that doesn't bode well for the rest of us.
Well, friendship is about being supportive. Sometimes we just have to do our best and take one for the team, right?
This must be secret out here.
I wonder what we can make with this.
If you can't decide, I'll have it raw.
Hey, wait! Don't eat that!
Now, it's 12. Huh. So there's 6 more owls out and about. do I want to pause and go take care of that? I think I might. That shouldn't take too long. Beyond the grave. Interesting. Looks like these might be well worth going and getting. Rose Ghoul. Ganymede. So go around the elevator.
Hey, Alvin, what do you think of that chick over there?
Doesn't look like she really works out.
I'm not talking about her muscles, you dummy!
Why would Alphen look at other women when he has Shion?
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
That is a unique owl. Battle Maiden's Shield. Shield of a legendary maiden of the battlefield who saves people from famine and despair. The small plane exudes an angelic aura.
You've collected an awful lot of those objects. You sure it's not just
Hush. Be quiet for a moment. The pieces speak to me.
What?
These relics that have scattered about. I can hear them whispering, longing to reunite with their lost friends and become one again.
Really? Do you hear any voices coming from them, Rinwell?
What? No! Don't get me wrong. I'm really interested in these things too, but I'm not crazy.
But don't you sometimes mutter stuff like, "Come to me, astral energy," when you cast your arts?
You're right. Oh my gosh. Are Dohalim and I actually alike?
Its charm really shines through now that it's been reassembled. Its streamlined shape, its geometric patterns. This is no mere amateur's work.
He's in his own little world at this point.
You get just like him when it comes to weapons, you know.
You're right. Oh my gosh. Am I just like Dohalim?
Huh? Why are you guys so quiet all of a sudden?
There's history in the air here. I can smell it.
I don't smell anything.
Don't encourage him.
That's field guide, artifacts. From the Legend of Valkyrie. Hurry over equipment. Allows you to carry over weapons, armor, and accessories to a new game plus after clearing the game. Wastes. Southern section. I think we have to work
out. You sense one of your pals, Hoodle?
We seem to have come across something a little unusual.
Get lost! This one's nice try! Wow! Look what I just found.
Somehow I don't think this. I think this guy's still not gonna let us. Yep. Might be a quest that lets us do. Up we go. And a chest.
This'll make us even more formidable.
Equipment. Vivid sphere. Brilliantly colored sphere, the purpose of which is unknown. Rolling it creates a vacuum. No nearby object can escape. Best leave it be. Thing that comes to mind, but I don't know if this is Bamco, is Katamari Damacy.
Who?
What a wonderful treasure this is.
Field guide. Artifacts. Yep, Katamari Damacy. Carry over records. Are these all going to be... Alright, next one is... in Cislodia's... What?
Hey, Rinwell, tell me about your parents. What were they like?
They were kind. That's the part I like to remember. They could also be strict, though, especially when it came to magic. I never understood why I had to work so hard to learn magic. Why we couldn't just be done with it and live openly like everyone else. Needless to say, that didn't go over well. Of course, if I'd had known that one day I'd be doing this, I would have taken my studies more seriously. What about your parents?
Same deal. Run through the mill. Told constantly that training was the only way to survive in a world like this. It got bad enough that I ended up running away and siding with the Renans of all people. And now, I've got that training to thank for being alive.
I know how that feels.
The first time we met, you risked using your magic to stop me from kicking my dad's ass. You could have done anything else. You could have ignored it. So, why?
Yeah, I guess something about Zephyr reminded me of my own father.
You don't say. So, did your pops and mine look a lot like each other?
Not really. Not at all, in fact. I don't know how to explain it. I just felt a resemblance, I guess.
Wow. Well, I won't pretend I understand, but I'm glad. Your dad must have been a great guy.
He was.
Back to the office. Right, okay. Not this way.
Hey, she's pretty cute.
Who are you looking at? Quit gawking and let's go.
Ow!
A black and white now.
Ooh.
Broken machine gun. Used to repel hordes of demon-like creatures. This firearm has taken great damage. Taking aim with it makes one want to yell, "It's gonna rain lead."
That treasure. What a sweet sounding ring it has.
You really think so?
Artifact. From Barrett. Okay. Carry over money and items. Next up is in Eldonesia. We have to get to the guard room. it's on the second floor. Wise Dolt.
Sure is good to be back in the pleasant climes of Menancia. Especially after the extremes of some of the other regions we visited.
Definitely. Your country is beautiful.
You do me an honor. However, this place was never mine to own.
I didn't mean it that way. Though, I guess technically you weren't born here either. Native or not, that doesn't change the feelings you had for the place. If I were you, I'd try to take a little pride in people's compliments.
Allow myself to feel pride, huh? That sounds like no easy task.
Nothing sounds easy when you overthink things the way you do. It must be exhausting.
He's always worrying about something. It's probably what gives him his eye for detail. That's just the way he is.
Yeah, so we'd noticed.
Let's change the subject, shall we? It's a wonder so many things coincided to bring us here. Alphen's awakening, Shion's decision to revolt, the Danon uprising in Calaglia, the Crown Contest's final, sputtering throws.
Zephyr's being in the right place at the right time. The fact that you happened to be a lord just as this was all going on.
It's almost as if we were brought together by design. By someone who wanted to bring down the system.
No, enough Hand of Destiny talk. We did this on our own steam. It's our responsibility to see it through.
Did Law just utter a pearl of wisdom?
I do think about things, you know. Just what do you take me for exactly?
Honestly, I always sort of pegged you as a likable dolt.
What the hell makes me a dolt, you dolt?
I mean, she did say he was a likable dolt, didn't she?
Let's refrain from poking this particular Zoogle any further. Some lessons just can't be taught.
Not to dolts, anyway.
Shut up, please. It's back this way. Garter.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
Ooh.
That's quite the animation. Ancient excavator. An artifact thought to have been used in subterranean excavation. Touching it fills with one with an extreme urge to dig. Dig dug?
Ooh.
That was part of the reason for doing this. Increases the amount of damage dealt for critical hits. Deepen bond with an elf. Interesting. Owl Sanctuary. Their future. This is one of the other ones.
This shall be a feast for the senses.
The next one is in Ganath Haros.
Do you sense one of your friends, Hoodle?
Even after staying here, we never truly got to the bottom of what makes this realm's citizens tick.
Renin and Danon are meaningless distinctions here. To have one's own mind is strictly forbidden. All that matters is blind obedience.
That might be the case now, but it can't always have been like that. There must have been something more.
Once, maybe. Question is that something still salvageable?
If it's not, we'll just have to make something new. No, not we. They've had enough foisted on them as it is.
You're right. It's time the people here had the chance to forge their own path. That's not to say it'll be easy, but it will be worthwhile.
These things take time to... What the... An ambush?
Sorry. Sorry. There was a huge flying bug and I sort of shot without thinking.
A bug? You mean like a Zoogle?
Something tells me she would have shot it, whether it was a Zoogle or not.
This realm is teeming with humid forests. It's only natural insects would feel more at home here than Menancia. In fact, I seem to recall reading somewhere that bugs around these parts lay their eggs in human food to ensure healthy incubation.
Oh, that's a...
Sounds like they're tougher than they look.
What about you, Alphen? Bugs don't creep you out?
I wouldn't say I was their #1 fan. Mind you, if times get desperate enough, I've been known to eat them.
Insects as a culinary option, you say? What kind of seasoning are we talking?
Dohalim, I don't think he was talking about cooking them.
Hey, a lizard!
Who?
Own Trident. Spielberg is said to have traveled with the legendary battle.
Who?
That treasure. What a sweet-sounding ring it had.
Field guide, artifacts. Mr. Drill. And then the Legend of Valkyrie. Trident wielders said to have traveled with legendary battle maiden. That's 5 of the 6. And the last one.
You really think so?
Is locked behind a subquest. So theoretically, this one should be unlocked. So we need to go to our shore. Thistleum.
Oh?
Hey, what's this bottle? You'll get sick if you drink out of random bottles you pick up. I'm not drinking from it, and there's something inside, though. A letter? What does it say? Ship sank, drifted to this island, no way off. Sent them. Seems they were in a shipwreck and sent this letter out to sea in hopes of being found. Oh my gosh, we gotta go rescue them.
Right.
There's a map in here. It's a rough sketch, but it's got the location of the island. Let's take a boat there. Yes.
Okay, off we go.
I never thought about this until now, Alphen, but doesn't it get hot wearing that armor all the time? You feel heat and cold again, don't you?
Admit it.
Excuse me, I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. My food just arrived.
Yeah, it can get pretty toasty in this thing.
Is it hard when your back starts to itch?
Oh, you bet. Plus, my shoulders get stiff wearing it, even if it's not all that heavy.
Kisara looks like she manages all right with her armor.
Armor takes a strong body and a stout heart.
Spoken like a true guardsman. Not that I really get what you mean.
The more I think about it, the more I realize what a pain it must be. Like, what do you do when you need to take a leak?
Ew!
That part can be a bit of a pain, yeah. More things to take off.
That sucks, man. Wouldn't it be easier if you just walked around outside of your armor most of the time instead?
You never know when the enemy might attack. As tempting as it might be to take it off, it's not worth getting killed over.
So basically, you're screwed if you ever get attacked while taking a dump. Right, Rinwell?
Are you doing this on purpose?
Seems like we should have seen that one a while ago.
Are you just going to keep standing around or what?
Sorry, I'm just getting prepped over here.
Let's see, in Mahagsar. Go to the Hidden War.
You finally made it. Everything okay there, big guy? You look kind of pissed.
I'll say. He looks like he wants to bite the head off something.
What's eating at you? Come on, Alphen. You're gonna bring us all down if you keep that ferocious scowl on.
Oh, sorry. Do I really look that ticked off?
Yes.
Yeah, it kinda makes you hard to talk to. So, what's bothering you?
It's a pebble.
A pebble?
Snuck its way into the back of my boot. I can't seem to get rid of it.
Oh, I totally get you. Weird how much it can get on your nerves, huh?
Yeah, it's barely bigger than a grain of sand. So how come it feels like I'm walking around on hot nails?
You know, maybe this is a crazy solution, but you could just take your boot off and give it a shake.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, of course. You're right. Phew. It's like I've been given a new lease on life. Thanks for the tip, Shion.
Seemed kind of obvious, but you're welcome? That's the trouble with windy places. All that fine debris ends up getting into your hair and clothes.
Alphen, is it just me, or have you become extra sensitive ever since getting your sense of pain back?
Now that you mention it, the other night at camp, there was a fly buzzing around that annoyed him so much, he unsheathed the blazing sword.
So much for sensitive. That's just being a Mr. Cranky Pants.
Nothing new on that front, then.
What's the matter, Alphen? You look a little tense.
It's nothing, really.
He wants to get angry, but knows that doing so would only prove our point. Hence the building frustration showing plainly on his face.
Would you stop analyzing things for 1 minute?
Point taken.
I think we talked to you. As I recall, you've got all that fishing gear, aye? Ever thought about casting a line out in the open waters? Here, that's a mighty intriguing looking map you've got there. I'm all set to sail whenever you are. Maybe we'll find some treasure out there too.
I wonder what we'll find out there this time.
Most likely Zeugles, I would reckon.
I mean, other than them.
Isn't that all Madria's?
So this is where her ship drifted.
Then the one who wrote the letter is...
Alive, but badly wounded. I doubt many of the others have survived.
Let's survey the area.
Let me finish my food real quick.
Seriously? Is this a joke?
Okay. I feel a little better seeing their level.
I'm like bait to them.
If they rush you, you gotta get for cover, okay?
We may get out of this alive after all.
Yeah, things were looking bad for a minute.
I'm pretty sure we can handle anything.
This could be useful.
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
See if there's weapons we can forge. scrap and equip that one. Oh wow, I have a lot of equipment maintenance on me.
I always love the sound of hammers banging away.
This is such a beautiful island.
Mmm. Looks perfect and tastes just as good.
Dohalim, care if I hang out for a while? Another fine day for journeying, huh?
Tell me, do you ever find yourself tiring of the vagabond existence?
It's better than being enslaved, that's for sure. I get to pick my own destination, for starters. You don't get those luxuries as a slave.
Shackle a man's feet, and you put a clamp on his heart as well.
Then there was the food. Gross slop that left you in a permanent state of hunger. Ugh, you wouldn't believe the things I ate to keep from starving. What about you? This must all sound pretty alien to someone who used to be a lord.
Is that a hint of interest in my past I detect?
I guess that's one way to put it.
Well, certainly starvation was never a concern I had to contend with. The day-to-day grind was largely taken care of for me. I even had help getting in and out of clothes. All that was required of me was standing still while looking solemn.
That's quite the downgrade you've made. It's a wonder you don't sound more bitter.
This might surprise you, but I actually don't find our current situation all that disagreeable. My own hardships paled in comparison to yours, granted. But life as a lord came laden with its own restrictions. Forgive me. Such complaints must sound like feeble extravagances to a Danon.
True, Renan opulence doesn't feature high on my sympathy list. Then again, yours isn't exactly a normal case.
I suppose it's not. Sometimes, I can't help but wonder how much easier life would have been without the trappings of nobility.
You really mean that?
Pay me no heed. Not but the ramblings of a privileged eccentric. Whatever my past, it has led to my being here. That is all the reality I need concern myself with. We'd best get ready for tomorrow. Once we finish eating, we should get going.
Oh, I think that's the place to jump down from. Let's see. A lot of stuff here.
A fish! You saw it too, right?
Hi, Hoodle!
Look sharp! Dragon shout! You can't get out of this! Take this!
Hurricane lightning! Are those just even natural?
Bang blast! Let's do it! Let's go! Galaglia ho!
Come again?
You don't know it? It was all the rage back in Galaglia.
I wonder if Cislodia's got one.
Cislodia, huh?
I will hit you.
Menencia ha.
We can hear you.
immune to that.
Seriously? Is this a joke?
Radiant Hurricane! Radiant Storm!
Now I'm in the groove. That's it.
Lunar Rapid Tear! Now, we're in the home stretch, guys.
What she
Where
said.
are you
Eyes
going?
on the prize.
That focus goes double for you, Law.
Me? How come I get singled out?
This one's mine.
We won that by a mile.
Oh. That's why it's coming up here.
Truly a trackless path.
Potatoes. What fish do we have here? Flatfish. Mackerel.
That food there looks pretty
Ooh, another
tasty.
sea bream.
Yep, we can fix that new recipe with it.
I eagerly await the final result.
It's you. Lord Dohalim.
I figured I'd find you here, Kelzelik.
You
Wait, you
knew he'd be
recognize
here?
the writing?
The handwriting on the note was all too familiar to me.
Did you come all the way out here to mock me, or have you changed your mind about putting me to death?
What if I had?
You have no right. You who abandoned your lordly duties and chose to fraternize with embeddeds of all people! And for what? How could someone as powerful as yourself turn your back upon the crown contest?
Not this again.
I ran from this once, but I must face it now. The crown contest was never for me. I apologize for dragging you along, but I do not regret my choice in the slightest. Listen to me, Kelzelik. People change. They can change given time, and regardless of their race. I know you're a capable man. You could do so much for others if you were so inclined.
Me? Impossible. It's too late for me. Death. Death closes in on me wherever I go.
What?
That's Almadrius.
Is she alive too?
No, we saw her stab.
It's death!
Has this thing become even more ruthless?
There's nothing more fearsome than a wounded beast.
Especially without its master.
Well, I'm not leaving it to its own devices.
Going in! Corruption!
Swallow dance!
Gemini Aqua!
Can you get moving?
Recover!
Alright. Now where was I?
Raging Glacier Spear! Here's Lunar Freeze Lancer! Lunar Here, let's go! In here! Let's get you all tucked away!
First strike!
Raging Storm! Banana, let's go!
Here, let me help! I've let you all down.
Appreciate it. Come on. You have to hold on.
Take that!
You picked the wrong fight!
Look sharp.
Light out! Blah, blah, blah! Back in here! Healing Arc! Let's get you all tucked away!
Need to pull myself together.
Lunar Corruption!
I think that tactically in line of his attack.
Here, let me help! Astral Blade! Thunderblade! one's mine!
This one's all mine!
Hurricane foot! Radiant beast!
No! Can't end here!
Don't give up!
Flaming meteor! I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa! This one's mine!
Raging cascade!
Hurricane
Here's the healing arm!
I let my guard down.
Rising Weapon!
Handy.
Rising Fist!
Corruption! Chinese!
That'll bring you down. I'll bring you back from death abyss.
Can't get out of this! I'm not done! The flame inside me
Here, let me
yearns to
help.
be let free! Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
This one's mine.
Try this!
Don't mind if I do!
Being interrupted.
Down! You're on! I can handle it.
First aid!
Denied!
Summer Blade!
Hurricane
Demon Fang!
Beast of
I'm all stocked up!
Lightning strike!
A freezing storm!
Dragon Swarm!
Ice tornado!
This one's mine!
Hurricane
Blade! Here, have your guard!
Hurricane foot!
Lightning strike!
Take this!
One more!
Here I come!
Going in!
Burn!
Shine! Radiant light! This one's mine! Hurricane foot!
It's too much!
Burning strike!
I'm in your debt, Johan. Another Infinite meal is on you.
I think I will. Items, life bottle, law.
Forgive me.
Now see what I can do! Not like this!
Stay away from my friends!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss! I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
You're mine!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Pierce through!
Resuscitation!
Alpha!
Here's a healing
Train
arm!
harder!
First aid!
Rising
Their
Weapon!
arms were interrupted!
Arts.
Spear!
The power of light! I'm ready to go!
All mine! Sonic Thrust!
Magna Ray!
Shockwave Thrust!
I'll bring you back from
Double
death's
Demon
abyss!
Fang!
Is this
Wait!
it?
Don't leave me!
Go, girl! I owe you one for that! Plenty left! Lunar Arc!
Where are you going?
Leave the chargers to me!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Resuscitation!
On guard! No chance!
Not done yet!
Instant heal!
Thank you for the healing, Beverly.
Our comrades need our abilities to survive.
Right. No one is dying on our watch.
You've too much.
Hurricane
Inside me yearns to be let free!
Can't get out of this!
Look sharp! Far enough!
Take this!
Going in! Now you're gonna tick
Forgive
me
me.
off!
This is my fault.
Lunar Arc! Beast assault!
I'll bring you back from death's
Look
abyss!
sharp! Beast of anything in I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa!
Benediction.
Not like this!
Captivity.
Hear my call!
Resonate with the earth. Stalagmite. Rending you apart.
Water!
Bloody howling. Negative gate.
No.
Resuscitation.
I think I'm coming down with something grave.
A chronic inability to read the room?
A malady your arts cannot fix.
This one's mine!
Swampy!
I couldn't make it in
Here,
time.
let me help! I never fit!
Rising Wyvern!
Armor won't save you!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Escape! Dragon Swarm!
Vanquished soul.
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Train hard! That's better!
Magna Ray!
Seismic rupture.
You're mine!
Good shot!
On your knees.
Be still!
Beast of God!
Not done!
Take this!
Stalagmite.
One mistake
Sorry, I didn't want to put you out.
What are friends for if we can't depend on one?
You're right. I'll bear that in mind.
Use its weak point to take it down.
Together, everyone!
Can't get out of this!
Now you see what I can do! Radiant light! Regeneration!
Is that a healing one? It is. I can't ignore your pain. I'll try to be more careful.
On your
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! Burn in hell!
Thank you for all your help.
Please, don't mention it.
I'm glad to know someone's got my back.
This one's mine! Blood corruption! Take this! A radiant pierce!
bloody howling!
I'll bring you back! I never miss!
Take this!
This one's mine!
Shine! Radiant light! Force of regeneration! Regenerate!
Thank you for that.
It's in your...
Let's get back into it! I'll bring you back from death to this! I'll bring you back from death to this!
Armor won't save you!
I'll bring you back from death to this!
Here was my downfall.
Stay away from my friends!
Ready to go!
Black and flame!
Going in!
I let my guard down.
From beyond, imbue this vanquished soul with love. From beyond, imbue this vanquished soul with life. Look sharp! Lightning tiger blade! From beyond, imbue this vanquished soul with life.
This one's mine!
Resuscitation! Benediction light.
So now you're getting serious?
What was I thinking?
Really?
Lunar arc! I'm gone! Sloppy!
You'll pay for that! Lunar Rondo!
Benediction light.
Heal! From beyond, imbue this vanquished soul with love. Resuscitation! Armor won't save you!
No further.
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
They've got us cornered!
They're not finished quite yet!
You're right. We can still turn this around.
Try this! Flash!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Take this!
Resuscitation! Eat dirt!
Train hard.
I don't even know the word defeat.
This one's mine.
Look sharp! Where are you going? Hurricane strike!
Beast assault.
I'll bring you back from death to
Havoc
death.
strike. No chance. Lightning
I'll bring you back from death to
One
death.
more. What a thing. Sloppy.
Not done yet! Double Demon Fang!
This has a most peculiar ring.
I'll bring you back from death to death.
Forgive me.
Totally.
I can't win.
Pierce through! Double Demon Fang! It's on!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
Swallow Blade!
This can't be happening.
Demon
Guess I have to use it sometime.
Here comes the big one! Try this! Captivity! Splendid Sky!
Blaze
Soaring Alpha!
Water shot! Radiant
He will scream.
Going in not like this.
No further! Rising Phoenix! I can carve through armor!
Magna Ray!
You're mine! Take it! Sword Lane Alpha! No!
I never
Can't end
missed.
here! From beyond,
Here, let me help.
imbue this vanquished soul with
Here's a
love
healing art.
resuscitation. Shine, radiant light.
Glacial
Trade
Spear.
harder.
Here's evil.
Regenerate.
God. Freeze Dancer.
Imbue this vanquished
Lunar
soul
Arc.
with light.
Resuscitation. Here's evil.
Shine, radiant light. Force of regeneration.
Regeneration.
Not like this!
Severing wind. Soaring light spear. Resuscitation. Okay, here I go.
I have to train harder.
Rising wyvern. I'm not done.
Gemini.
Going in! Alright! Now where was I?
Freezing storm.
Lunar Arc!
Can't be happening.
I owe you one for that.
Destruction.
Alright! Now where was I? Take this! Glacial fire! How do you like being pounded into shape?
Not today. Wide open.
It won't escape me.
Lunar Arc! I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa!
I'll grind you into dust. Tempest and Ghost.
Thrilling performance.
Rising Phoenix. Air pressure.
Far enough! Going in!
Wind. No further. No.
Ow.
While it's wheeling. Rising wyvern.
And
From
outstanding
beyond,
effect.
imbue this vanquished soul with light.
Lunar Arc! Havoc Cut! Flaming Meteor!
Rising falcon.
Lunar Arc!
Take it.
Going in!
Try this. Can't move.
Going in! Not like this!
Resuscitate. Not in your dreams.
You're mine.
That'll bring you down.
Air pressure.
I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
Is this it?
I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
No. Elixir.
I owe you one. Now
Resuscitation.
here I come. Can't get out of this. Dragon
Annihilation.
Explosive ray. Negative.
Flaming Meteor!
Shine.
fix
Radiant
you.
light. Force
Go
of
ahead,
regeneration.
I
owe you one. Shine. Radiant light. Force.
It's
In your hands now.
can't be happening.
I can carve through armor.
May a thousand girls turn to shreds.
You can't lose! I'm gone!
Expert coming through. Annihilation. I won't give up. Radiant.
Why are you down already?
I can feel the medicine working. I'll bring you back from death's abyss. Thunder field. Dance the
Far I'm gone!
In here.
Flaming Meteor!
Amazing. Not long to go now.
We couldn't have done it without you, you know.
Hey, come on. Let's you and me get in there and finish this fight. Yes.
All right! This one's mine! Lunar Arc!
Raging cascade.
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa!
Here's a healing arc.
This one's mine! Worthy!
Armor won't save you. No further.
I'm all sucked up. Primed and ready.
Captivity. Catapult. Perfect.
Where are you going?
This one's all mine.
Here, let me help. Who cares? First aid.
Watch yourself. Incredible power.
You're mine.
From beyond, imbue this vanquished soul with love. Resuscitation.
Burning strike. Glacial speed. Pierce evil. Freeze lancer.
Benediction light.
Resuscitation. I've still got some power. This one's mine. Water spec. Here's a healing light.
Captivity shattering pieces.
Bolt lightning. Downfall. Radiant. Here, let me help. Going in.
No further.
I won't give up. Hold on to your...
Wait. How did Elfin die if he's back?
Ready to go. Here I come.
Captivity.
Radiant light. Not in your dreams.
It's in your hands now.
You picked the wrong fight.
Look sharp. Not like this. Resuscitation.
No rest for the wicked.
Here, let me help. First aid. I'll bring you back from death to this. In here.
Shattering
Resuscitation.
pieces. Attack time.
Hear me. Glacial speed. Here's Eve. I'm ready. Here's another. Look sharp. Radiant. Here. It looks like you got this going in. I never fit.
Enjoy the ground while you're down.
Not today. Begin. Hurricane flame. Lightning strike. Freezing storm. Far enough.
Can't out of this.
Holy glimmer. Wait. Going in.
Soaring
Here.
everlasting shock. Lunar arc.
Here, let me help.
Look sharp.
Blizzard bloom. Glacial spear. Here's
Smite with
evil.
blackened
Now you
blade.
see
what I can do.
Freeze laser.
Execution.
Let me help.
All right. Negative gate. Where will I? Rending roar.
Flaming meteor.
This one's all mine.
Raging cascade. Here.
Look sharp.
Outstanding form.
Feast assault.
Oh, it's there!
A whirling glacial.
Look sharp. I'm ready. I'm far enough.
No further.
Do it.
Shine. Radiant flame. All yours, Kisara.
Man, that took a lot of item spanning. I better get a ridiculous amount of experience and levels off that.
Would you come with us? We can take you someplace safe.
To where?
Man,
Where could I possibly be safe from that?
What are you talking about? We already took care of the monster.
No! Death is immortal by its very nature. Even now it haunts me. It hounds me. The Silver Death curses me incessantly with its many faces, many voices. Don't follow me. Leave me be. Leave me alone.
What's happened to him?
Whatever it is, it seems we have read the situation wrong.
He spoke of a silver death. Do you think he could be referring to the people back in Vicente that he hollowed?
He did so at Almadria's urging. I'm sure that somewhere deep down, he felt guilt and remorse for what he did. It was easy to blame it all on Almadria while she was alive. But now that she's gone, he has no one left but himself to blame for his own misdeeds. He's alone with his guilt on this island.
But it sounds like he lacked the mental fortitude to endure it.
Makes sense. Sounds like just desserts to me.
Almadria's monsters had nothing to do with it then.
So he was a Renin, yet he regretted his part in the Danan's persecution. And now he's beyond help.
Should we really just wash our hands of him, though?
To be honest, It seems like he's punished himself far more than any punishment we could hope to mete out. Dohalim.
If I hadn't met all of you, No, even after that. If I hadn't accompanied you on this journey, it's entirely possible that might have been me.
But you did. You're here with us now. And you didn't stumble upon redemption, Dohalim. This is the path you chose for yourself.
Yes, I suppose it is.
Flower.
You sense one of your pals, Hoodle?
So I still had room to grow.
What levels are we at now? 46 across the board. Can I talk to this owl, please? There we go. Metal Miner's Cap. Hat features the words "made for miners" on its underside. Walking with it results in a curious phenomenon: music playing.
I see you've got your relics all lined up again. What are you doing? Huh? They're so bright now.
Oh, it's you two. I was merely tending to my collection.
Don't you think you've polished them enough by now?
You take better care of your relics than you do yourself.
I try to take good care of them. However, no matter how much work I put in, they refuse to respond.
I thought you could hear their voices somehow.
I can, but that's all I can do with them. I can't actually engage in conversation with them. Not yet.
What are they saying? Did they really want you to polish them that much?
You're right. I was so enraptured with them, I may have selfishly failed to consider their own wishes. I must open my mind and sincerely engage with them in earnest.
He never gets tired of his relics, does he?
Nope. It is interesting to look at them when they're all lined up together like this, though. Like how these two have similar designs. It makes me wonder if they were made in the same period.
An excellent observation. Yes, I too suspect they're somehow intimately related as well.
I don't see what you two are talking about at all.
What's this? Why, that smear wasn't there previously. Could it be responding to my voice at long last? It's rather viscous and has a distinct aroma to it.
Ugh, Hoodle! These relics are no place for you to do your business! I'm serious! These are priceless pieces of history!
Come on, Dohalim. Let's go wash your hands before you catch anything weird.
This shall be a feast for the senses.
Okay. Now, let's see, where did the helmet come from? Let's see. Here. So this is from Dig Dug. Carry over art proficiencies. Made for miners on its underside. Interesting. So, should be back on Tuesday. Oh, excuse me. But I don't know. Maybe I should go 106. Yeah, I should be getting off now. We'll probably do another sweep of side quests. I may try and just brute force some of the harder bosses like I did today. Because I seem to be under level 2. Don't think it helps that for whatever reason they decide that if you play on easy, I think they reduce the amount of experience you can get. I'm going to actually double check that. Levels. Normal, moderate.
Are you just going to keep standing around or what?
Higher difficulties
Sorry, I'm
fetch
just getting
more
prepped over here.
points. Score bonus multiplier. Glory base times 0.5, normal 9, moderate 1.25. It's just the battle score bonus multiplier. Problem is, it feels like it may affect experience while it's at it. Which is really stupid and kind of backwards. But regardless, so yeah. Got a lot more answers today. We opened the final dungeon. Like I said, I think we'll go back and do some more side quest sweeping on Tuesday before we head off to do the final boss. So yeah, thanks for coming out. I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.